Have you ever felt guilty for resting? Like the moment you stop doing something for God, you're somehow falling behind? You're not lazy. You're not spiritually immature. But something inside you has been trained to believe that your value to God is directly tied to how much you produce for Him. And that belief is quietly draining you. Here's what almost nobody tells you about rest. In Scripture, rest is not a reward for finishing. It is a weapon. It is a command. And the reason you feel burned out, spiritually dry, or stuck on an endless treadmill of Christian activity might not be sin. It might be that you have never actually learned what God means when He says rest. By the end of this video, you are going to know exactly what biblical rest is, why most believers have been running on the wrong kind of fuel, and how to step into the rhythm God designed for you from the very beginning of time.
But here is what most Christians never hear about this. The enemy does not always attack your faith by tempting you to stop believing. Sometimes he attacks it by convincing you to never stop working. Number 1. Rest was God's idea first. Genesis 2:2 says, "By the seventh day God had finished the work He had been doing. So on the seventh day He rested from all His work." Now read that carefully. God did not rest because He was tired. He is God. He does not get tired. He rested to model a rhythm He was building into creation itself. Think about how a musical piece has rests written into the score. Those silent beats are not mistakes. They are part of the composition. Remove them and the whole thing collapses into noise. God wrote rest into the rhythm of your life on purpose. The question is whether you have been playing your part or skipping the rests. You have felt that moment when the week finally slows down, and instead of breathing, you feel guilty, like you should be doing more. That guilt is not from God. Number 2, Jesus redefined what rest actually is. Matthew 11:28 says, "Come to me, all you who are weary and burdened, and I will give you rest." Jesus did not say, "Go take a nap." He said, "Come to me." Biblical rest is not the absence of activity. It is the presence of a person. It is what happens when you stop striving and start staying close to the one who carries the weight. There is a difference between a man carrying a boulder up a hill alone and a man walking beside someone who has already carried it. Same hill, completely different experience. Jesus is not asking you to do less. He is asking you to stop carrying what He already bore. Not striving, staying, not performing, depending, not pushing harder, pressing closer. Now, you might be thinking, I've tried this. I pray, I read, I show up on Sunday, but I still feel exhausted. Here is why it did not work. Most people come to God the way they come to a gas station. Quick stop, fill up, keep driving. Biblical rest is not a refueling strategy. It is a change of driver. Number 3, Sabbath was never just a day off. When God commanded the Sabbath in Exodus 28, He said, "Remember the Sabbath day by keeping it holy." The word holy there means set apart, different from everything else, not just empty, different. A day not just without work, but with intention. The Sabbath was a weekly declaration that you are not the source. You are not the one holding everything together. You are not the engine. You are a beloved creature, not a machine. And your rest was supposed to be a weekly act of trust that said, "God, the world does not depend on me for 7 days straight." Here's what happens when that rhythm breaks. You start to believe, quietly and without realizing it, that if you stop, things will fall apart. And that belief is not faith. It is a subtle form of pride dressed up as responsibility. If you are still watching and this is landing somewhere real inside you, comment the words, "I need this rest" below. You are not alone in this, and naming it matters. Number 4, spiritual exhaustion is a warning, not a personality trait. Elijah was one of the most powerful prophets in Scripture. But in 1 Kings 19:4, after his greatest victory, he collapsed under a tree and asked God to take his life. He was done, burned out, empty. And what did God do? He did not rebuke him. He did not give him a list of things to fix. He let him sleep. He sent an angel with food. He let him sleep again. Then God spoke. Rest came before the next assignment. God did not waste Elijah's exhaustion. He met him in it. That hollow, empty feeling after you have poured everything out and feel nothing coming back in, that is not failure. That is God's invitation to stop and be filled before you try to pour again. Here is the soft warning. If you keep running past this, if you treat exhaustion as a badge of devotion and rest as something you will get to eventually, the drift that follows is slow. A gradual emotional numbness toward the things of God, a prayer life that starts to feel transactional, a faith that is still active but somehow no longer alive. That is not condemnation. That is a description of where the road leads when rest is treated as optional. But here is the good news. The door back is always open. Always. Elijah was restored. You can be too.
Number 5. Rest produces what striving never can. Psalm 46:10 says, "Be still and know that I am God." The phrase "be still" in Hebrew is rapha. It means to let go, to release, to stop gripping so hard. It is not passive. It is an act of surrender that requires more strength than most Christians ever exercise. And notice what it produces. Not peace after you know after you stop. The stillness comes first. The revelation comes second. Most people have the order reversed. They try to figure God out so they can finally relax. But God says relax first, and then you will see clearly. You cannot receive with a fist clenched around the need to control the outcome. Now here's how to actually do this. Practical steps. Step 1. Identify what rest means for you right now. Not sleep, not vacation. What does it look like to stop striving today? Name it specifically. Write it down if you need to.
Step 2. Schedule one protected block of time this week where you are present with God and doing nothing else. Not reading for information, not planning your next spiritual goal, just present. 15 minutes counts. Start there. Step 3. Before that time begins, say this out loud. I am not the source. I am not in control. I trust you. Say it until you mean it. Step 4. When guilt comes, and it will, recognize it for what it is. It is not conviction from God. It is the old operating system fighting the new rhythm. Name it, let it pass, stay anyway. Step 5. At the end of the week, notice one thing that shifted. Not a dramatic breakthrough necessarily, just one thing. A lighter feeling, a clearer moment of prayer, a thought that came in the stillness you would have missed if you were still running. Write it down. Evidence builds faith. The invitation God has been extending to you is not complicated. It has never been. It is simply this. Stop trying to earn what He has already given you. Stop running toward the life He promised as if you have to build it yourself. The rest He is offering is not at the finish line. It is the road you are supposed to be walking on. Like a tree planted by rivers of water, subscribe your heart to the source of what never runs dry, and you will bear fruit, not because you forced it, but because you stayed where the water is.